Now, as you can see here, I've got a few items here to review. These are all from Zeroplus. So I'm going to go through these and have a close look. And this is a really nice logic analyzer, and these are some simulation boards. So thanks very much Zeroplus, sending these to me at no cost. Brilliant. So make sure you check out the links down below to go to the listing. I think it's on Amazon for this, and maybe the Zeroplus website and that sort of stuff. Links down below for those. Make sure you go and check those out in the description. So we'll have a close look at this protocol simulator board first. We'll do the simpler things first, and then we'll get stuck into the actual logic analyzer and get the PC out and have a look at the software and that sort of stuff and actually try using it. I did a review previously on Zeroplus, their LAP-F1404M. It was the one I had. Well, it's F1 series. This is the Cube Pro. So this is like a updated version, I suppose. They do still sell the previous version. It's a very impressive, very well spec'd logic analyzer, as is this thing. So it's quite impressive. Anyway, so this is a protocol simulator board. There's simply two of these. Also got some different formats they simulate. And the boards themselves look like they're the same, but they've got obviously different programming on them. Maybe scan that code. Also, one thing about it, there's a code on the back of here too. And there's the QR codes on the actual logic analyzer itself. So if you want to look at any of those channels, just scan those codes in. So both these units are very similar. Physically they look identical. So here we go, there's a device on there, I don't know what the hell that is. ET44M210Q, don't know, not familiar with it. And we've got an SN74HC04. It rings a bell, I can't think what it is offhand. Over here we've got these switches which allow you to set up the protocols. You just hook up to this as per the manual, and you set the switches as per the manual, provide USB power, turn the thing on, and you're outputting those protocols. It's also got a switch over here, I'm not sure what that one does yet, it's probably for switching something. And here is the sheet which shows all the protocols it can do and tells you the connections to make as well. So let's have a close look at this. If you want to have a close look at this, pause the video and have a look. As you can see, it can do quite a few. And this is the top half of the page. So it tells you the switch settings and the protocols and the connections. Some more. And some more. And even focus somewhere. There we go. Alright, so that's all that sheet there. So that's 45 protocols on this one unit. And obviously the other unit's got something similar too. So it does an awful lot of stuff, and an awful lot of stuff which I have never heard of. So it's pretty impressive really. So let's look at the front page. Oh, yeah, just look at this piece here. There's a list of the actual protocols right there. And there's a description of the connections and stuff like that. So that's switch 3, what does it say? When a single run is pressed, the segment of the signal can be transmitted after pressing the switch 3 for one time. It's got a 10 MHz signal. With all this information I've just showed you on the video, you should at least understand what it can do, hopefully. Well, as far as what protocols and stuff it supports. There's a fairly close look at the board. Flip it over. There's the back, a bit less exciting on that side. It's a nice standoff, so at least you can sit on the bench. Okay, here's the second unit. Let's see what this one can do. I did show this briefly in the mailbag video not long ago, so you may have seen that. Actually, I'm not sure if you'll see the mailbag before this one. I don't know which order they're going to end up being in. So the usual problem with getting items on doing a mailbag, doing a review, is that they don't always tally up as far as the sequence they come out in. This is basically the same board, so I'm going to show you the board again because the board is identical, apart from the fact it's got a number 2 on it instead. There you go. Right, number 2 instead of number 1, which is just a sticker. It's the same board, obviously it's got programmed differently. And there's a list of all the protocols, same as the other unit basically, as far as the formatting of this document, but very different list of protocols. So if you want to look through these, maybe pause the video, and we shall have a look at the back page as well. It's got GPIB. Loads of stuff. So just pause the video and have a look. If you want to see anything specific as I'm going through this. Hope I'm holding it steady enough for you to see everything. Got one wire as well. Profibus. All sorts of stuff. Awesome little board to looks of it. So if you're interested in reviews or electronic stuff in general, don't forget to subscribe, click the bell icon and give me a thumbs up for the video if you like the video. Subscribing and clicking the bell icon means you get notified about new videos that I do and you don't miss out. Okay. I do lots of things, not just reviews, but electronic repairs, stuff like that. So I'm sort of tailoring this speech to anyone that's not familiar with the channel. If you're already familiar with the channel, then obviously you don't need to know that. If you're new here, then please do subscribe and click the bell icon and stuff like that and give us a thumbs up and all that sort of good stuff. put this off. Very nice carry case. What's in here? So this is the top of the range version. This is the Ascii Pro 32256M. So it's the top of the range one, which is the pretty impressive one. It's got lots of channels, high memory, that sort of stuff. It's got some really good specs. It's quite impressive what it can do. And it passes everything, so you expect that anyway. So I just sort of show this briefly in the mailbag. So we've got some logic probes here, the actual hook clips. Most people will be familiar with these anyway, but if you're not familiar with them, they're like a bit like mini grabbers, I suppose. There's little fingers that come out the end. I'll show you. Let's get one out, and hopefully in focus. See those little fingers come out? See those? So you use those to grab hold of IC pins and stuff like that. So there's a whole bunch of these. 20 pieces in this one, 20 in this one, so you've got 40 of those mini grabbers. In the top here we've got a USB 3 cable. And we've got a whole bunch of these little cables. So hooking it up, 25cm and 10cm 2x5 pin by 2, so 10. Another same thing there, another 10 there. And this one here, which is slightly different. So 25cm by 4 and by 1. There's two different types apparently. Well, one's black, one's grey. There we go. Alright, so different cables you need for doing hookups. So you've got a block connector on here and individual connectors on here. So this will be the one that goes to the logic analyzer end, and these will be the ones you go to the probes. Warranty card, nothing too exciting there. And here's the actual logic analyzer. Let's get it out. I should probably pull it apart too, shouldn't I? Just have a look inside it. That's what the back looks like. 900 milliamps. That's what the front looks like. This is nice and small and compact. It's pretty impressive. I mean, the other unit which I've got, the F1, is a lot bigger than this. It's got 40 channels, I think, the one I've got. Yeah, the other one's got 40 channels. That's why it's called 40 or 44. 4M is a 4 megabyte. This is much more compact than the other unit I've got. So if you're not sure about the other unit as well, go and check out that link down below for the other video. But it's about, the other unit I've got is about that long. It's basically 2.5 times the size, maybe twice the size, maybe something like that. There you go. That's all the connections on the side. They're done in groupings, A, B, C, and D. And you've got clock markings for each one, ground and clock for each set. So it's all organised in a nice positive way. I've got these other connections in the bottom here. I don't know what they're for. I did read it, but I've forgotten. It's gone off my head. So on the top here I've also got a trigger button, run, read, trigger. I guess you push that to actually do the sampling. Expand. What's in here? Looks like it's fixed in place. Looks like there's a possibility here for an expansion slot. Interesting. I think we should pull it apart before we actually turn it on. What do you reckon? I'm guessing it screws underneath his feet. That's my guess anyway. Just open it up, have a quick look at it. I'm not going to do too much of an investigation, just want to see what's inside it. Then we'll set the PC up and play with it. Yep, sure enough, screws underneath the feet. Right, let's get it opened up. Do this together and find out what you find. There's a seal on the end there. Yeah, it's going. So there you go, that's the back of the board. There's some very fine circuitry in there. Look at the size of some of those traces. Over here, absolutely tiny. Wow. So we get an 0201, maybe 0105, and then our parts in there, they're tiny. Okay, let's lift it out, let's look at the other side. Right. Button fell out. So there's a fan here, tiny little fan. Let's head off. Get that box out of the way. That cute little fan. Guess it just needs a little bit of cooling. And that's the other side of the board. Obviously you've got power supply stuff over here, as well as inductors. RTX 7, don't know what that is, never heard of it, but then I'm not exactly up to FPGAs and that sort of stuff. That's not what I do. There's very little chips in here, but obviously the technology goes into the software side of it. But even like the actual design of the board is actually looks really good. Really fine design. See the size of the trace and stuff like that in the layouts. It looks like they got length matching as well in some places. Sort of thing you'd probably expect for high speed signals. Filtering or something here. So you've got this connector up here, jumper on it. Don't know what those do. And you've got this expansion header thing up here, which is obviously not connected up to anything, because there's obviously an option. Maybe you can get extra module they're planning on making or something, which you add on. I don't know, I haven't noticed anything, but I haven't been looking for anything like that either. That's the inside. Hope you're satisfied. Hopefully. There you go, there's that other chip which is here, CYUSB 3014BZX. There's a close look at that RTX chip there, and what looks like probably memory up there on HP77. And there's another chip that's up there, see if we can get a shot of that. ADP 5052. So here's the laptop I use for doing various testing and review stuff. I pretty much only use it for this. I don't do much electronic stuff on laptops apart from these kinds of things. My main machine's a Mac, and unfortunately there is no Mac software for this thing, which is a real shame. It apparently does work on various Windows versions. It does actually list it all somewhere. There you go. Let's look at the back of this. So this is what it actually lists as the various models, the functionality. Unfortunately it's in Chinese. It requires USB 3 5 volt, max 3 watts, and it works on Windows 10 8.1 7. 32 or 64 bit. So I've already got a version of this software on my machine because I used this same software for my other unit, my F1 unit, which I did a review on a couple of years ago. So I've got the software on here for that. But it's an older version, I haven't actually updated it. So we'll have a look and see if it actually works on this version or not. There you go, so you've got ZP Logic 1.0118. There is a newer version, I have downloaded it on my Mac, I need to transfer it onto this machine. But I just want to first try and see if this will actually work on the older version or not. So I've already plugged the thing in and it said installing device driver. Is it LAPF or something said? So I don't think I'll do that again. No, so it's already done that. So now we go over to the ZP Logic and see if it actually starts up. See if it recognises it. So because there's an older version, I think it predates this unit. So hardly not found. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to have to do an update. That's fine. I'll go and do that. At least we know that 1.01.18 won't support this unit. I have to use the newer version. That's fine. I'll just put it in. So this is interesting. I've installed the software, tried to open it up, and this has come up. Disinfection in progress. Really? Detected threat is being disinfected. Please wait until the process is complete. That's awesome, isn't it? And I've also got issues with flash drives in this machine where it doesn't recognise flash drives, but that's different. That's a pretty different problem. So it seems to have an issue with ZP Logic software. That's interesting. So here we go. It's moved into quarantine. It's moved the program in. It seems to think that that program is a problem. So that's curious, isn't it? And then we get this. Detects malware, apparently, from Zeroplus ZP Logic standard command line parameters. Is this actually a real threat or not? I should probably research this. It could just be a false positive. It's likely to be a false positive in fact. But you do have to wonder what it is that's inside this software which has caused this trigger. So these are the things that's flagged apparently. So it's 4 programs as part of that package which it's flagged. So is it the naming which it's concerned about? Was it Zeroplus it doesn't like? Something it doesn't like there? But I don't know, maybe it's just a false positive. It probably is, like I said. So I'm going to actually allow this, but if you have any doubts yourself, then obviously you don't want to do that. This machine is not used for much apart from these kinds of things, so I'm less worried about it, to be honest. But yeah, it's still surprising it flagged up. So this is one of the files that got flagged as potentially virus, and it's a text file. So anyway, I've opened it in PSP-Pad, and we'll just have a little look for it and see if it looks like an all text file. Well, in my configuration, I think it does, really. It's just text. So I did have some odd characters in here. I've got some characters like this in here. So maybe it sees odd characters in the file which are throwing it. But this looks just a normal configuration text file. Nothing too sinister there at all. So it looks like it's just being falsely flagged. That's certainly the way it appears anyway. Right, so I've plugged it in and I've got this kind of ready to go. I've got the one tested units here. This is unit number 1. I've got it hooked up ready to kind of go. Now it's got 2 sets of dip switches on this thing. And this is only for the first set of dip switches. So I'm not quite sure about the second set. So function selection of the bus signal. So that's the bus type and this is function. I'm not quite sure what this bit is about. Switch 1 is mentioned, but the rest isn't. I don't know, is that like some kind of data selection? So you put the data in on those switches and that's what will send through? I really don't know. I guess we'll have to play around and find out. I've got it plugged in. Let's open the program. Hopefully this time it will actually work. I mean, the virus detection, I've reversed all the virus detection and put it all back. Restored all the files. So hopefully it will open. Hopefully it's not been damaged by the antivirus software. Let's see what happens. Is it going to open? This computer's a bit slow, so it's not surprising it's going to take a little while. Hey, it's going. Open last year's file. No. Right, so the program opened, which means it's detected the hardware, and here we go. 30 channel, 256 meg. This is the Ascii Pro, so it's detected the hardware, so great. Update, yes, sure, whatever. Interconnection's currently turned off, yes it is. So it looks like it's functional, so let's actually turn on the unit I've got over here, the test box. Let's turn this on. And hopefully that's now outputting something. And we could actually try doing a capture. It's been a little while since I used the software, but you might remember it was fairly straightforward. I'm hooked up onto A0 and clock. So A0 should be what comes through. I haven't set up any protocols. I'm going to be, this is doing I2C right now. Protocol decoder, I2C, that one there, next. I've got clock on this other clock line. So actually, let's just change the clock line. Actually, I'll do it in here. So I've got clock on that other one. So let's do clock on A1, data on A0. Let's do that. No, the battery front. That's close enough. A1, A0, and that one. Okay, 7-bit address. Yeah, should be. I'm guessing fine. I don't know about these other criteria that this thing's using. I don't know what's actually outputting. So I guess we'll find out. Colours, scheme stuff you can set up in there. Right, next. Do buses and channels. No, I'll leave them there. Right. So I think I need to do a capture. And there we go. There's some data here. There we go, there's some data, there's the clock line, and there's data coming through here. So it's got some starts and stuff in there. Question is what we're actually getting. Getting some unknown data. Part of this is me not knowing this unit either. Like I don't know how to use this thing yet, so it's a bit of trying to figure it all out. Clock line appears to be the data line. I've got them back to front. Is that what I've done? I've got the configuration working correctly now. You can see the hex values coming out here. All I had to do is I had to get this trigger set up on here. I didn't have a trigger set up originally, so that's rising edge trigger on the clock line. And now I'm getting some data coming through here. So what I've done is I've changed this configuration here. I might turn the switch on the SW1, turn that one on. What it does is it means that this doesn't put any data out until I push this button. Okay, so that means I can do a capture. So I'll start capturing with that. So I'm sitting there waiting for a trigger now. Okay, so once it gets a trigger, then it will do a capture for the preset memory depth time. I've also got it set for 10 megahertz. So I'll do a trigger. There we go. It's captured the data, and that's what's in here now. All right. So you can change the memory depth and stuff like that, and capture longer amounts of data. It's currently set for 64K. Well, let's go 128 meg. We'll do the same thing again. And you'll notice when it does the actual capture, it takes a lot longer because it's obviously using more memory. So it's processing it now, it's capturing all the data for 128 meg instead of 64K, so it's going to take much longer. There we go. And that's all going to be in there now somewhere. It's probably going to be blank data for most of it. So over here somewhere there should actually be some data. hopefully. I haven't tried this yet, I guess we'll find out. So I've just done another capture at 1 meg memory instead, and it's only doing data for the first 25 milliseconds, which is why I couldn't see it on the other one, because it just had so much there, it's just disappeared. I might do it again actually. So I just done one at 32 meg, and here it is over here, so the data's there on this one. You can also push the button on the unit over here, so this button's there, you push that, and it also calls at the start to wait, and then you can push that button. So I'll do 64 and we'll see what comes from that one. So there's data's on this one as well, that's here, there we go, the 64. Now it was there, it's just off the bottom of this navigator thing here. So if I click on here now, there's the data, so it is there. I just had the camera right over here in order to get it to change to the next screen. It does it in blocks, that's why I couldn't see it before. Captures data before the trigger and after the trigger. So yes, it was capturing the data, it just wasn't displaying it in here. So it's probably a way of changing this display. We've also got this thing here which various controls. It's pretty much repeating of what's up here to some degree, but it's got some extra bits in there. Okay, so yes, that is there, that is working. Now I want to sort of change this from hex to ASCII because I want to see what it actually says. So how do I do that? I think there's a option here, base encoding, numeric base or encoding. So it's in hex currently. Okay, hold on, let me just drop this back down to a sensible level. I'm only doing a small bit of capture, so let's do another capture. And let's change this to a ASCII encoding. And here we go. So there's now ASCII in there. Just wondering what it actually says. IZKL. Whole bunch of nothing. So special characters, is it? Probably. So okay, let's just change again to some other encoding. Let's do decimal encoding, and that'll tell us what these values actually are. So there we go, 107s, 124s, these are above the normal ASCII range for characters, so that's why they're not showing up. So I don't know what data this is actually supposed to be putting out. I really have no idea. So anyway, it's working, that does that stuff. And that's obviously I2C decoding, so let's look at another decoding. Right, so I'm going to set up the one wire options in here. So I've already changed the simulator to be one wire, so this is the configuration page for that. I'm just going to use the default settings. I don't know what the protocols are for one wire, I don't use it, so I'm not familiar with it, but we'll have a look. So we'll see what comes up. Delete other channels. Yeah, sure, we'll finish with I2C now, so we'll just do that. And I don't know about the trigger. Just do a rising edge trigger, I'm guessing. Bus equals 1? I don't know. Anyway, let's try it. Do a rising edge trigger. Let's try that. Okay, I've got this set still to manual triggering. So let's pull this out slowly. Get it ready to capture. Let's found something. And there are pulses here. So yeah, there's clocks and there's data here by the looks of it. How do I decode this thing? Base encoding, decimal, binary. Let's do a hex. Can I get hex out of this? No, it's not registering any actual data from that. Has it also got the record length? That's all the way out. Let's go a bit longer, shall we? Longer depth like that. Do a new capture. There we go. Now we've got data. It was just too short. So there we go. So it's recognising that as well. And one wire. Can I pull out some more? I can a little bit. So yes, that's working. So let's just do a conversion back to text, well ASCII. It says data. Yeah, okay, helpful. Binary. Should we do binary? Here you go. Binary data. Sometimes that's handy to know what the binary is. So yeah, that's obviously decoding one wire just fine as well. This Muir pattern doesn't help, does it? It's the only problem trying to capture a screen like this. So yeah, that's all doing what it's meant to be doing, as I tend to say. That's pretty cool. So I mean, these units are meant more for professionals. That's, you know, most people don't need to have 32 decoding channels. You know, most people only need a few, you know, 3 or 4. But this does some much more advanced things which are beyond my knowledge, certainly, by a certain amount, I'm sure. I mean, I'm just playing around with basic features here, really. I mean, no grey code even is. No idea what that is. So there's 2's complement decimal. Yeah, so these different options you've got in here. So it's great. It's got so much stuff it can do. I'll leave it on hex. But the recording length is a good thing. You know, that's one of the best features. I mean, this can go up to 256 is the limitation of this particular setting, this configuration. So it depends on what you're doing. It might be a limitation of the hardware actually. No, 256, that's the hardware limitation. Maximum sampling speed is 500 megahertz in this configuration. Pretty damn quick. I don't know what else can I say about this thing really. It's a logic analyzer. It's doing some protocol decoding. Sure, I could show you the decoding from the other unit as well. I'm not going to go through every single one. This is ridiculous. I'm just going to go through. I'll show you a couple. I mean, you get the idea. You can see here. You can decode what's coming out of these sampling boards. Display on screen in different types, different formats. You've got these long time frames, and I mean, also you can do this. Also, it does have long-term acquisition as well. I think there's an upgrade option. I remember I did have it. Here we go, long time recording. So protocol analyzer settings. It needs to be used with USB 3. Yeah, I don't have USB 3. I've only got USB 2 on this thing. So it's a bit more restrictive. Long term recording, yeah, I can't do it. So this laptop's a bit too old for that. It doesn't have USB 3. So it's, unfortunately, I can't show those features. Pattern generator. Here we go. What's this do? Pattern file. I don't know what this does. I don't know. Menus. Lots of stuff in here. You can customise it quite a bit actually. You can change what's on the top menu here and that sort of stuff. You can do all that. There's the analysis menu. I can get it to come up by pushing the right button. Math operations. Noise filter, signal activity, real-time frequencies. So it's got quite a lot in the actual software here as well. I mean, when it comes to these logic analyzer things, I mean, a lot of it is the software, how good the software is. And when I was playing with this one before when I did the previous review, I didn't like the fact there's duplication in certain areas, like you got over here, for example. Let's get back in shot. You got the knob here and then the pull-down menu. Right, it's duplication. I don't like that duplication. These controls here, I mean, I suppose if you use this sort of thing a lot, you know, you're doing captures and stopping captures, I mean, that's an easier way than probably going to the menu up here maybe. Auto capture, which means it's going to sit there and wait. Repeat capture, so it does the same thing again. There's bits now I don't actually know what they do yet. I think I've been waffling on enough about this software now and using it. I mean, if you're used to using a logic analyzer, you've got a bit of a basis anyway of what it does. This software has got so much flexibility in it, so many channels you can use it. I'm only showing one channel right now. You can always go in here and, you know, capture multiple protocols simultaneously and choose with the trigger points for each one and all sorts of stuff. Alright, so you can do, you know, add another bus and you can choose which ports you're going to use on the bus. You know, if you want, maybe you want that one and this one over here, for example. You know, maybe you set those up on that bus. You know, you can do all kinds of stuff. Every input is a possible configuration. Protocol decoders, I mean, you got all these decoders in here. I should really show you, shouldn't I? These will basically be everything that was mentioned in these modules here for the simulations. Automotive options here. Let's get a bit closer so you can see all these better. Right, so I'm going to open all these up so you can see them. So automotive ones, PC system ones. IC interface. Can I make this window bigger? No, unfortunately. I don't remember how many protocols it's actually got in here. It's got loads. I think it's like 120 or something like that. It's got. There you go, 125. I told you at the top of the screen up here, which you can't quite see. Just up here, it says 125. So that's how many protocols the thing has built in. And these come with it. These are free. You don't have to pay anything extra for these. Well, it's not really free because you buy the whole system anyway, but that's what comes with it. Memory protocols. Can I show this over a bit? No. Power. Infrared rays, apparently. Wireless stuff. These are all things I have absolutely no knowledge of. But I'm sure there's people out there which need these kinds of things. I mean, this is a professional logic analyzer. That's what it's aimed at, anyway. It's not really meant for hobbyists. The price kind of gives that away. So these things here, the price ranges are quite broad. So this unit ranges from, I think it's at $900 US through to $3,500 US, depending on which particular model it is, number of channels, memory depth, that kind of thing. This one here is the top of the range ones. This one's worth $3,500, so yay, thank you very much, Zeroplus. But obviously these are meant for professionals, so labour environments, that kind of thing, or development environments where you need a high-end logic analyzer with, you know, potentially 32 channels, individually configurable, you know, huge flexibility. So this is meant for that kind of situation. I mean, this is very much like the F1 which I reviewed previously. That's meant for a really professional environment, really. You know, the price ranges pretty much show that, and the software reinforces that too. You know, there's options in there and decoding protocols and those sorts of things. And memory depth alone is probably pretty good for some people. Long time recording. Well, obviously I need USB 3 on this laptop, so I can't demonstrate that, but it's an option. I think it used to be a paid option. I don't know if it still is a paid option. It used to be. I know that when I did the previous review, Zeroplus also gave me a serial number or something it was to unlock the long time recording option. But I'm not sure that's still an option in that way or not, whether it's just a feature you can turn on, or whether you have to still pay for that. I really don't know. Or maybe it's not prompting me because I've already done that serial number thing. Brilliant. So thank you very much Zeroplus for supplying me with this unit at no cost. That's brilliant. Really appreciate the support from them, and I really hope that you go and check out the links down below and look at their equipment. They do quite a diverse range of things. They do weird sorts of, I don't know, they do gaming equipment and all sorts of things. It's a bit odd. They don't just do test gear, but as you saw from the quality of this in the actual internal build, I mean, that PCB was immaculate. It was perfect. So no bodge wires that I could see, and it looks like it's a really well developed, well made board. But that's what you get. You know, you spend a lot of money, you get high quality, and that does seem to be high quality. Everything about this system is quality. There's nothing dodgy about it all. You can spend a lot less and get something of a lower quality with less features, lower memory depth, less channels, that kind of thing. But then it depends on what you need. I mean, this unit can go down to, let's look at this again. So the lowest level one here, so this one here is $900 US, this model, currently, as I record this video. Could change, obviously. Alright, so that's still, you know, 16 channels, whereas all these other models are 32 channels. The only difference here is the actual memory and stuff like that, recording length and stuff like that, that's on them, and the sampling mix. So if we've got 32 channels running, it's 500 megahertz, which is what I was getting on here, because I'm using 32 channels. Don't need to be using 32, but that's what it's doing. If you're only doing 8 channels, it's 2 gigahertz sampling. And like this other one here, 8 channels is 1 gigahertz, 16 channels is 500 megahertz, very similar. So if you found that interesting, make sure you give us a thumbs up. Really appreciate the support. Have a chat down in the comments, you know, give me your opinions about this unit. If you've got anything similar even, have a discussion about them, you know, pros and cons about different units. If you're used to using logic analyzers, what sorts of things do you watch out for? If there's any particular follow-up things maybe you want me to do, you know, if there's something particular you want me to look into, maybe I can do a follow-up video if it's possible. I mean, I'm pretty busy right now, but maybe later on I could do one. We'll see. I'm open to suggestions, so have a chat down below in the comments there. Check out the links down below in the description, and don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon if you're interested in these kinds of videos or anything electronics related. If you're not familiar with the channel, then make sure you do subscribe, because you'll get to see what I do. Thank you much Zeroplus for supplying the item to me. I hope you found it interesting. See you next video. Catch you later. Thumbs up. Subscribe. Those buttons everywhere. Do them. Check the links out below. Go to Zeroplus and check them out.